Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a concept that might just reframe how you see challenges.
Yeah.
The idea that trials don't actually wither faith, they purify it.
Exactly. And our mission today is really to unpack some fascinating sources. We'll explore the historical crucible of early Christianity
Right.
and look at how those ancient struggles have some surprising echoes in our world today. What's amazing is just how consistent these patterns are.
So we're looking at how adversity, both external and internal, shaped belief.
Precisely. And how that might offer some powerful insights for your own journey.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Going back to the early church, our sources show that after James, a key leader, died, the Jewish Christians back in Jerusalem really started struggling.
Yeah, they had a tough time discerning, the biblical stance on law and circumcision correctly.
And they fell into what the sources call self-consoling legalism.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly?
It essentially means they were kind of retreating back into older Jewish legalistic practices, clinging to rules maybe for comfort or identity.
Instead of their core Christian beliefs.
Right, rather than relying on their foundational Christian faith. And this was happening around AD 62-67, which, if you connect the dots, was right around the first Jewish rebellion against Rome. A really, really turbulent time.
Paul was heartbroken by this, wasn't he?
Deeply. He even says in Romans 9.3, he almost gave up his own salvation for his people. And, well, it was during this same chaotic period that Paul himself was martyred.
Which the sources suggest was this painful but maybe necessary step for Christianity separating from Judaism.
It certainly forced Christianity to really solidify its own identity, especially as Rome's policy of persecuting Christians started ramping up.
And it wasn't just Roman policy, right? That they faced misunderstanding from everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Widespread societal misunderstanding. The Lord's Supper, some thought it was cannibalism, calling each other brothers and sisters, misconstrued as incest. And because they wouldn't worship the emperor or serve in the military or attend things like the gladiator games.
Things Romans saw as normal civic duty.
Exactly. So they were labeled antisocial, unpatriotic. Christianity was seen as this weird new superstition. Unlike Judaism, which was older, more established, sort of legally recognized, even if sometimes tense. So they caught flack from both sides, Jewish authorities and the Romans.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Amidst all this big picture stuff, individuals faced intense trials too, like Timothy. The sources mention he was jailed and then released, Hebrews 13.23.
That's right, and it's highly likely Timothy was actually arrested while defending Paul, perhaps in a Roman court.
Caught up in Nero's paranoia, maybe, when he blamed Christians for the fire in Rome.
Very possibly. Imagine being thrown in jail just for defending someone in that kind of atmosphere. It's pretty intense.
And the sources also point out that the pressure wasn't just external. There were internal problems, too.
Oh, definitely. Significant internal challenges. Our sources detail some serious corruption within the Jewish temple system itself. High priests apparently bribing their way into office.
Really?
Yeah, exploiting the offerings meant for God and ruthlessly crushing anyone who opposed them. Think John the Baptist, Jesus himself, James, Stephen.
Which must have created such a stark contrast with the simple Christian worship happening in homes.
Exactly. You have the grand, imposing temple and then these small, often secret Christian gatherings. Our sources suggest this visual difference, this disparity, actually confused some early believers.
It forced them to ask what real worship looked like, beyond the fancy buildings.
Precisely. To look past the outward show to the spiritual substance.
So this brings up a crucial question one the sources seem to really focus on. What does this all mean for us today?
Well, the core insight seems to be this. The struggles of that early Jerusalem church, its sort of disintegration, wasn't just about the persecution from outside. A big part of it, the sources argue, was that the believers themselves weren't mature enough. They weren't deeply rooted enough in the word. They were swayed by outward appearances, by the grandeur of the temple versus their humble meetings.
So that lack of depth, that immaturity, that was the impurity, the trial started burning away.
That's the idea presented, yes. Yeah. Like a refining fire exposing the weaknesses.
And the sources actually draw parallels to today.
They do. Now, we need to be clear. We're reporting what the sources observe, not endorsing viewpoints. But they mention things like believers today facing what's termed reverse discrimination.
Like example?
For instance, they cite a pastor being targeted or threatened for holding traditional views on marriage. The source's point here isn't about the issue itself, but that This opposition, rather than destroying faith,
Could actually purify it.
could purify it, yeah, by forcing believers to really clarify why they believe what they believe, strengthening their resolves, stripping away maybe just nominal agreement.
They also mention internal church issues today.
Right. Things like a focus on worldly markers of success, wealth, impressive buildings, maybe accumulating debt for them, sometimes overshadowing genuine spiritual growth and community.
So it's the same pattern, just in a modern context.
That's the argument. The central theme, repeated in the sources, is that trials and persecution, whether external or internal, don't ultimately wither faith. They refine it.
Like a furnace.
Exactly like a furnace, burning away the impurities, the dross superficiality, self-reliance, maybe misplaced priorities, leaving behind something purer, stronger, more authentic, and crucially, God is with us even when we stray, using these very trials to guide us back.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Well, here's a thought to perhaps reflect on. Consider the challenges you see as overwhelming in your own life. Are they purely external circumstances? Or could they actually be opportunities for your faith to become more genuine, maybe more deeply rooted in the Word, stripping away the non-essential stuff?